All right. Welcome everyone back to Hard Truth, who's brought to you by Unapologetic Sports Network. I'm your host Anthony. This is my co-host McCaven. McCaven, how you doing today?
I've had better days. I've had
I
way
bet
better.
you have. I bet you have. About a week ago, when we last recorded, we made some predictions for the second round. If I'm being honest, I've been sick this last week. I haven't watched as much basketball. I've been catching up on rewatching some of the games and things like that. But this second round has been kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Outside of two series have been atrocious. I mean, how are you feeling about the second round as a whole? I know you got, you know, rooting investment in one thing that's no longer going on, but how are you feeling as a whole though?
As a whole, I'm with you. Kind of the excitement that we got from the first round was not there in
Hmm.
the second. Um, it part of it is due to it's just due to matchups. Just just how it happens. Honestly, majority of it is honestly due to matchups. I just
Yeah,
think just matchup wise. I mean, obviously we have two series that are already over. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't set up the best to be able to have prolonged series and like in each for each series that was available.
yeah. I definitely I didn't think the second round was gonna live up to the hype that the first round gave us. I mean, that's probably one of the best first rounds I've seen in recent years for sure. But
Hmm.
then it kind of set us up for a second round to not be, which I mean, you would think, okay, in the Eastern Conference, three game sevens and a game six, you would think, okay, the two series in the second round should be, saying great. And one series has started to look a lot better. It still hasn't been a series just yet because just the home team's winning. But then the other series, which the series will start with, New York sweeping the 76ers. I mean, I made my prediction, and I'll man up and say, look, I said I had Philly in six. Now, I also said that in Game Seven, Tyrese Maxey fell to Joel Embiid's knee. I didn't know how that was going to go, and New York took full advantage of the fact that Joel Embiid is not that mobile. If anything, the way this series went, I'm more disappointed in Boston because
Hmm.
y'all had the chance to beat this team. It's not like Philly, just whooped on them or whatever the case may be. They were up 3-1. All they had to do was close the series out, and I'm not going to give them the excuse of injury. He didn't play Game Seven. They still had Game Five and Game Six. They had to win. They did.
Right.
Um, so then just for Philly to go against New York, which New York, the way they built their team was to play against a Boston type of team. But then they seeing like, oh, like yes, Philly beat Boston, and that says more about Boston than it does about Philly. But New York was just like, we're not about to play with these dudes. We're finna just run them out the gym, and they've just been literally doing just that.
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike you, I actually had New York in six, but hey, I'll take New York in four. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
mean,
I'm
it's
gonna trip on being wrong like that.
well, it's the thing. It's like when I said Philly in six, I was off the high of I'm glad they just had a series like that. It was a nice thing, more so for like Joel and B just for Philly. But they've been getting their ass whooped by Boston for years. So I'm thinking, oh man, they got over the Boston hump. I'm thinking, oh, they finna, but also NBA, what's up the schedule? They literally played 2 days after Game Seven. Game Seven was on a Saturday. Game One was on a Monday. Now, that's not New York's fault. I wouldn't even say that's necessarily Philly's fault necessarily, but hey, New York got out of their series much quicker, and they were rested, and they had home court advantage. They didn't have to travel. So I mean, they just had a cookie
I,
crumble, but
I do. I mean, I do blame. I don't think it's a scheduling issue. I blame the teams. I blame Philly. I mean, they can only look at themselves to blame. Like it's I don't believe that it's a scheduling issue. If you don't want to if you don't want to be in that situation in the series earlier, so I think it's as simple as that. Philly was well within their rights to be able to win in four games or five or six, right? But no, that didn't happen. And they had to win in seven, and they did win in seven. So congratulations to them. And then 7 games. That's what it's going to be. You're pushing up against the limit as far as how much rest that you can get for the next round.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's unfortunate that the last win they had was Game 7. But um, what do you think? What do you think is next for Philly? Do you think they should? I mean, money wise, they're tied up to Paul George and Embiid. Embiid's contract extension really kicks in next, like this upcoming season. Where he's about to be getting paid in the 60s. Paul George in the 50s. Tyrese Maxey's in the 50s. I
Uh,
mean, do they just run it back and just hope that they can be
no,
healthier?
no, no. They got like Embiid. To me, is not worth the money anymore. I mean, you're gonna like potentially talking about paying somebody $60 million and potentially potentially he won't play. He won't even qualify for the end of season awards because he'll be missing too many games. It's not worth it in my opinion. Uh, Also, Paul George is nowhere near worth the money he's being paid anymore. Paul George is I think at this point in his career he has moved to pretty much just a role player. Hit some threes, play some defense. I get like a Trevor Ariza vibe from Paul George.
I'm not gonna let you put that on his jacket. No, don't do that.
Nah,
Don't do
man,
that.
that's
We hate
that's the
Trevor Reeves
vibe I'm
around here. Do
getting.
not put that on Paul George's jacket.
Paul
No, we're
George is
not
not the
doing that.
same. He's not the
But
same.
we can say he's regressed without going to Trevor Ariza. He's better than Trevor Ariza.
You think
Now,
you think where he at right now is better than Trevor Ariza?
yes, yes,
No,
we listen,
no,
we don't have to disrespect Paul George.
I'm
Respect,
not.
listen,
That's
he
just
played bad. We don't have to be disrespectful now.
no.
We
That's
don't have to
just
be
where he
disrespectful.
is now. I'm not. I'm
No,
not. The problem is everybody, like people like you. Everybody remembers Paul
no,
George
no, no,
in
no,
his
no, 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 no,
glory
no.
days.
No,
Y'all
we're not
remember
even
his
doing
glory
that.
days.
We're
It's
not
not the
even doing
glory
that.
days
We're
no
not
more.
even doing that. I know it's not the glory days. The glory days were honestly in Indiana. That's when I was a Paul George fan for real. Once he moved from Indiana, it was kind of like, yeah, Paul George cool, but he's still better than what the best of Trevor Ariza would not like. Maybe okay. The
Thank
best year
you.
Trevor
You
Ariza.
thinking
Hold on,
about
hold on,
it?
hold on, hold on, hold
You
on.
thinking
The
about it, bro?
best possible year Trevor Ariza compared to this year Paul George. Paul George is still better,
No,
but but I think you're getting more distracted by the pay. You think because I have it right here. Next year or this year, $51.6 million. Next year, $54 million. Now, when he got the contract, it was worth what I wouldn't say worth it. I wouldn't have gave him that much. Look, hold on. We have a guest. Say hi, son.
I agree.
Anyway, we're talking about $1 million. You gonna get a $51 million contract one day? One day, I hope so. But when he got the contract, he was still a really good player. He was just an all-star a few years ago, all NBA player a few years ago. He's still a really good defender. I'm not see that's why I'm not about to let you do. Trevor Reeves stop being a good defender. When you say Trevor Reeves, I know what Trevor Reeves you're talking about. We ain't talking about that Trevor Reeves.
I'm talking about Trevor. I'm talking about Trevor Ariza at his peak when he still was a good defender. I'm not talking about
Oh, nine
bad
with the
defender Trevor
Lakers,
Ariza.
man. We talk no. Paul George is better than that. Paul George is better than that. We ain't got to
He's
disrespect
not
Paul George.
that.
Look, like I said, we can agree that he's overpaid. We could
We
just
can definitely agree overpaid.
we can agree he's overpaid. Um, because and I think his contract, though it is very bad, it's not worse than what Embiid's contract is. Embiid's contract literally kicks in next year. These next few years. 58, 62, 67.
It's just like what are you
And
getting with that?
if I'm being honest, that 67 million, that is in 28, 29. That is a player option. He's gonna pick that up.
I would.
Uh
Why would I turn
the
down
way
$70 million?
yeah, no, he ain't gonna do that. And it's like, man, watching the way Embiid's moving at certain times, I don't think he's gonna be playing basketball in 3 years.
Uh, exactly. That's my
Uh,
point.
so that's bad. And then not to mention, which I think he regular season wise for sure. He plays up to his contract. Tyrese Maxey. The next 3 years is 40, 43, and 46. Um, which
That's a
those wouldn't be.
bargain. That's a deal.
It is a deal. It is a bit much considering what the whole. I mean, you got next year. 58 to Embiid, 54 to Paul George, and 40 to Maxey. That's your cap right there. They don't have nobody else signed other than BJ Edgecombe, who's on a rookie contract, Brendan Wofford, Justin Edwards, Dembona, and Johnny Boone. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. If I'm being honest, they have no choice but to run it back.
I think it's just gonna be a local YMCA that's gonna have to go and just have tryouts and see who they can get on the smallest contracts that they can find.
I mean, like Quentin Grimes was on a, I want to say it was a qualifying offer, $8.7 million, but he wants to be out of there beforehand, and they just kept him, so he might end up leaving. Kelly Oubre, $8 million. He's probably, I don't know, he might come back. I think he might be fine there. Andre Drummond was paid $5 million. Kyle Lowry is 45 million years old, so he might be retiring. Uh,
He's
and
not
it's
even
just like
playing.
even getting rid of those people, what is that? That is 17 million and plus five. That's $22 million you got to work with to try to fill out the rest of your roster. It's just
Yeah,
not enough. It's just not enough. Which is unfortunate. I think Philly, the Philly fans definitely, they definitely would want to have a good team, but
yeah, yeah,
sorry, y'all
yeah.
not getting
I
one.
saw that they're gonna fire Daryl Morey, and so whoever's fulfilling that GM role, and they're cooked.
Ooh,
It's just a bad situation.
that's a tough. But then again, they might get a little bit of leeway to be like, hey, you're coming into a situation that's kind of messed up right now. So we'll give you some grace, give you a few years. Hopefully, you don't mess up even worse. But you gotta whoever goes and you gotta give them a little bit of time because
Yeah,
they at least gotta wait out the Paul George
Paul
contract.
George, Paul George.
His contract ends in 2028. But then the year after that, you still got one more year in B. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
but when 50 something odd $1 million is falling off of your off of your salary cap, um, then you're good. That gives you flexibility to be able to bring in players to at least start to really build a championship contending team around Tyrese Maxey.
yeah, and then hopefully by then as well, BJ Edgecombe, we'll see what happens in his second and third season, and
Right.
maybe he might start stepping into a bigger role and
Mm.
become a maybe not even a star, but like a secondary type of star to Tyrese Maxey, and maybe they can work around the edges there. But yeah, Philly, it's kind of cooked for you guys. Unfortunately, look, I love seeing them win the first series, but and seeing their season in there it's kind of rough seeing them get swept. Speaking
Mm.
of sweeps,
All right.
oh, you
Here
might
we
as well
go.
get that out the way.
Here we
Um,
go.
your Lakers have not won a game since they beat the Rockets. Surprise, surprise. We look, we knew even if the Rockets somehow beat the Lakers, well, I don't even want to say somehow. The Rockets should have beat the Lakers regardless. If the Rockets won the series, would they've got swept? I don't know. We will never know. But we knew they were going to lose anyway. So OKC moves on to the conference finals, like we all knew. How are you feeling about your Lakers getting swept? You knew they were going to lose. Well, actually, no. You made a prediction they were going to win in seven. Now, I didn't take you serious, but
I
how are
was
you feeling seeing
I
them
was
get
I
swept?
was I was just hanging in hope there, man. But nah, yeah, nah, it like obviously it sucks that we lost, but it's not like a demoralizing loss. Where it's like, man, like I just can't believe this, man. We got swept. Like, no, no, it was more so just the things that went wrong in each and every single game where we competed in 3 games. I think the only game where we just did not compete in was game one. But game two, three, and four, we competed, and everything that went wrong in those games would have been corrected. And especially we would have won. What was it yesterday? We would have won yesterday had we had Luca. Like had we actually had our point guard. Like we have 20 turnovers in the game, 23 turnovers in the game. We don't have our point guard. In addition to not having our point guard averages 33 points a game, almost 34 points a
Yeah,
game. You know, and so it's just not having that, and it's not an excuse and stuff, but it's a tough hill to climb against OKC, where it's just one right after the other. It's just like like man, they just don't miss. Like
they ain't got
they
Jalen
don't
Williams, but
miss.
they got an AJ Mitchell. I don't know. It's like they don't
I
need Jalen
called it.
Williams.
I called it. Last episode we released, I called it. I said Lou Dort number one. I should have switched it, but I said Lou Dort and I said AJ Mitchell. I called it. AJ Mitchell was going to be the deciding factor. If we let him go off, then we're going to lose. And surprisingly, we did. We actually may have. It kind of sucks because moving forward, whoever wins San Antonio or Minnesota, we may have gave them the blueprint to really taking SGA out of the game. We did really good in 3 games against SGA. It was just this last game yesterday where he went off, but but like we showed the teams moving forward a blueprint to like, okay, well we can just take SGA out of the game and then we just have to worry about AJ Mitchell and the others. But so yeah, it's not a demoralizing loss. It's just I was telling my fiance I said the loss I didn't want to lose here because now you open up the floodgates for everything that we have to deal with the Lakers organization this offseason. Is LeBron retiring? Yeah, is LeBron coming back to be a Laker? Is LeBron going to a different team? Or are we going to sign Austin Reeves again? Are we going to pay him? I don't believe we should pay him. DeAndre Ayton, are we gonna re-sign DeAndre Ayton? Like we have so many things we have to worry about now, which is why I was like, please don't lose. Just keep playing for as long as you keep playing to avoid this media frenzy that is already now ongoing about every single decision that the Lakers have to make um this offseason.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, it might sound. I think this team need a whole overhaul. Just
No.
and not a whole overhaul like everybody got to go. But I think it's tough because Luca wasn't there. Where it's like obviously if Luca's there, things are a lot different. So
Mm-hmm.
my opinion is a lot based off of just not Luca being there, but a lot of it is because of the way the team is constructed. I don't think you guys are just a Luca Doncic away from like this current team. I don't think Luca being on the team would have meant y'all would have beat OKC. It would have been y'all wouldn't have got swept. I still don't think y'all would have won the series. And even if y'all did win that series, I don't think that means y'all didn't go off to win the championship. Just because y'all still would have to win more series. Like you said, it's gonna be a lot this offseason you guys got to deal with. And the top of that list, and it's honestly the thing that's out of the Lakers' control is what LeBron decides to do.
Yeah.
Because if LeBron decides to retire, then boom, the $50 million he was getting paid this year, now you know what I'm saying that y'all got to have that money. But he
Mm-hmm.
has a player option for $52.6 million. So if he decides to take that, he handicaps y'all for what y'all can do to fill the rest of the team. Austin Reeves, he wants a contract. I'm hearing 40 plus for Austin Reeves. I don't think I would give him anything more than 35 personally. I
I
think
wouldn't give him
35.
anything more than 30.
Hey, look, if I'm Rob Pelinka, I'm going in there telling him 32 million. In my mind, I'm like, all right, 35 is the max. Anything past 35, we're not going. But I'm telling him, hey, we got 32 for you. And we just gotta hope and pray that he accepts it. Because if anything past 35, hey, Austin, I'm sorry, you gotta look for that somewhere else. Because
Oh, dude.
the way this team is, first of all, I think the Lakers can build a good team
Mm-hmm.
if they get rid of, but not, I don't want to say get rid of, the LeBron retires or just moves on to another team. And if you guys can get Austin on a really good deal or he goes as well. Because the way this team is, in some ways, it looks like the Lakers team we've been watching for years. It just, there's Luca. But then Luca wasn't there. So I'm watching this team. I'm just like, yeah, I don't care that. Like The years when I was telling you the Lakers wasn't gonna do nothing, and they haven't done anything all them years. I was saying they wasn't. But when y'all had Anthony Davis, I'm just like, yeah, y'all Rui, as good as Rui played, as good as Rui played, he's ain't it. I don't know. Y'all been trying to get off Rui for years. Now y'all cool with Rui, but y'all been trying to get off Rui for years.
Rui, it's like you say he not it, and in the regular season you got me. In the regular season you got me, but then he want to come in the postseason and just start just hitting three after three after three, and it's just he
I think
clutch.
yesterday on the broadcast he was shooting, which I don't know if what last game affected him, but he was shooting like 52% in the playoff from
He
three.
was shooting like 57% in the playoffs from three.
Yeah,
Now, last game, yeah, yesterday's game probably brought that back down because he was missing quite a bit of threes. But like at the start of yesterday's game, I believe he was shooting 57 or 56% from three in the playoffs, and it's just like, dang, it like Rui. I don't know. My mindset has changed on Rui moving forward. Um,
but then my
I
thing is, do you really? Because like you said, in the regular season, you not fooled by Rui. But then you guys played what 6 games? You guys played 10 games, and he was shooting good. You think that's gonna be
No,
like?
he's done this before though. So think about that run where we go. Was it to the conference finals and we got no? It was it was the
Yeah, I
conference
got
finals,
swept by Denver. That was a
and then we
conference
got
final.
swept by Denver. So that
A fake,
think about when
a
we
fake
went on
conference
that
finals
run.
run too. At that, I want to. Yeah,
You said
I
what?
think that a fake conference finals run. You guys didn't play good teams to get there. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Yeah, I made it,
hey,
yeah, but I
hey.
got swept and I got there. So it's like,
Hey, look, during that run, Rui was a big reason as to why we made that run because it was Austin Reeves one game and then it was Rui the next game, and and so it just seems like every single year in the playoffs when we get to the playoffs, Rui is locked in, like he's completely locked in. I don't know the stupid stuff he be doing during the regular season, but for some reason he's not stupid in the postseason. He's locked in, and I can deal with that. I can deal with that. You tell me we're gonna be competing for this for the second seed or third seed or fourth seed, and Rui will be locked in the playoffs. I'll take that version of Rui.
well, Rui's not even the player I have beef with necessarily. I think if Rui stays, I'm not mad. But
Yeah,
I think the overall direction and how the team is built needs to be built in a. It needs to be built for Luca. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like I feel like this team, similar to last year's team. Now they did a little bit of adding some people
Mm-hmm.
to fit Luca, but I think they need to really make a team that really fits Luca because
They will.
you got. I mean, Jared Vanderbilt. He can't shoot,
He
and
gotta
he
go.
broke his hand. But he can't shoot.
I like
Um,
Vandy. I like Vandy Vando. He gotta go.
I mean, he's $12 million next year. He might stay. I don't know who's gonna trade for him. Um,
Uh,
Luke Kennard's gonna be a free agent. Maybe bring Luke Kennard back. Maybe
oh yeah, bring Luke
you know what I'm
back.
saying. Um, Marcus Smart for $5 million the player option. He
Bring him back.
might. Well, he's a play. That's a player option. He might, hear, a little bit more money somewhere else just based on how he played for you guys. He played good for you guys.
Yeah, he
He
did.
played good for you guys. You guys do still have to pay Jake LaRavia. He's gonna be there. Um,
Mm.
Dog Connect got a team option. I don't think they're gonna pick that back up. I don't know what
No,
they're gonna do with him.
I don't know what
Bronny,
happened to the kid, man.
Bronny's guaranteed, so you got Bronny. Hopefully, Bronny can, like you guys just need a defensive team. Get a real good defensive team around Luca. DeAndre Ayton, get him out of there. Get a real
Oh
lob threat, real big man.
yeah. Yeah, and I
Um,
saw a report. I saw a report actually, and that's exactly what they're focused on. I saw a report that they are focused on building around Luca. They're looking for like two-way, like 3-and-D wings, to put around Luca, and then they're looking for bigs like similar like lob threat bigs. So that's the kind of team that they're looking to build. Um, and to your point on defensive guys, the problem is not we have defensive guys. Those defensive guys cannot play offense. That's the problem. We got Vanderbilt. Bronny is a defensive guard. Marcus Smart. Defensive guy. Like we have defense. The problem is those defensive guys cannot play offense.
yeah, and I got a report here. It said the Lakers are reportedly prioritizing true lob threats who mimic Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively
Hmm.
and athletic two-way wings this offseason. Which is basically, I mean, you guys have to build a team for Luca the way the Mavericks had in the year they went to the finals.
Hmm.
Um, but it's gonna be hard to get those type of people if LeBron and Austin Reeves getting paid too much. Um, and if you're the Lakers, do you want to bring LeBron back? I understand the politics of just letting him walk and telling him LeBron beat it. You know, I get that. You know, you don't want to kick him out, but it's like, do you want LeBron to come back if you're the Lakers?
If I'm the Lakers, maybe the it's a tough decision because he had accepted his role as the third option this year, and
Now, I
he
did see
and
something that
he
he didn't like being a
excelled.
third option.
You said what?
I might have seen something that he didn't like being a third option, or it was different for him.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's going to be different for him, and maybe he did not like it, but he excelled in his role as just being that glue guy, being that third option. He excelled in that, and so it's if he's going to do that again, which I doubt he will want to do that again. If he's willing, and in order to chase a championship, yeah. But then it's like, okay, if Braun comes back, one, is he gonna let us get a discount?
No,
You know,
he's not. I'll tell you that
but
right now.
and
No.
right, and I doubt that. I doubt he's gonna let us get a discount. So if not, then it's like, okay, well, if Braun comes back, like you said, who can we realistically, put around what kind of wing defenders and guys who can shoot threes that we can put around Luca that'll work. Like the guys that the guys that we could possibly go and get, we would need LeBron not to be there for sure. Like I honestly, shoot, if Tari Eason and Jabari Smith ain't doing anything this next year,
Well, so
we'll come get them.
Jabari signed. Tari, he needs a contract extension. I think Tari actually would be a good player for y'all. It
Yeah.
would suck seeing him away from the Rockets, but at the same time, somebody gotta go. They gotta do some fixing around there. Looking at free agents, ooh, uh, Andrew Wiggins.
I don't know how much consistent shooting I'm getting with that.
And it says he has a player option. Kind of. Let me see. That a player option for $30 million. That's what he was getting paid.
Wiggins is not a bad option. I mean, he
Well,
played
it's a player
he
option for 30 million. But
sheesh,
if he
that's
declines it, then he could come over to you guys and go on a
not for
cheaper
30,
deal.
not for 30 million. He can stay where he at for 30 million. Shoot,
Uh,
Wiggins is good defense. Decent shooting.
let's see. There is Draymond, which I think he might just go back to Golden State.
I don't
But
know.
then again, he might want to play LeBron. I think that one's been one of them where it's like it's hard to tell with Draymond because he does a lot of talking as well. You never know what he's feeling, as far
Yeah,
as where he's gonna
Draymond
go.
is like the ideal Draymond Green is like, okay, yeah, we'll have a really good the Draymond Green thing is like Marcus Smart. Like it'll be really good to have him in certain situations because he'll hustle. You know what I'm saying? He'll play his ass off on defense. But in reality, it's like, man, he can't shoot. He's just not the offensive guy. We don't have Stephen Curry for dribble handoff screens. So like what? I don't
But then
know.
again, I do think JJ Redick is smart enough of a coach where if he got Draymond on the team, he can find a way to use him.
I hope.
Uh, a person that honestly, I think you guys could get this person. I think he'll be really good for your team, but I don't know if the other team will let him go. Lou Dort, he got a team option for $18 million. I'm pretty sure OKC is not going to accept that. They're going to try to restructure that, if anything, get him on a smaller deal for longer. They might try to keep him there. But if you guys could pry Lou Dort,
No, nah.
no,
His
Lou
his
Dort be
his
good for y'all.
his defense is there, but the problem is his shooting is not.
But then you guys have what's more like on the scale, right? I think you guys should more lean 65% defense when it comes to guys like Ludort. Like, yeah, he's not about to be huss, you know what I'm saying, cooking by himself, but you don't need him to cook because you got Luca that can just get him open shots. You need him to make open shots when he gets them, but then also play defense. That's the main thing he would be there for. That's what you really need.
True, true. Yeah, I think the problem with my thinking right now, I'm a little bit of a prisoner of the moment, and Luca wasn't there. He was hurt. So I'm still, in my head, Luca's still hurt, right? And so I'm thinking of a team without Luca. But yeah, if Luca is there, Luka Dort actually wouldn't be bad. But I honestly, if I honestly like Tari Eason. If Tari Eason, if we can steal Tari Eason from y'all, I think that'd be a really good pickup.
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting for the Lakers. Obviously, you know, we know how it is when it comes to Lakers. They're gonna get talked about getting anybody and everybody. So we'll actually see, you know, if they get another Jake LaRavia again like they did
Oh
last
my
year.
gosh, bro.
Um,
Cut him.
but then the next two series we got are both 2-2 series.
Mhm.
Let's start in the Eastern Conference again. The Cavs tied the series back up. You know, it's 2-2. Um, wasn't looking too good at first in the first two games, but it's tied. What are you thinking, you know, so far? And actually, that game, I want to say is about to be on if it's not already on. I know
Mhm.
they played yesterday.
Yeah, I'm about to say no. They play. Yeah, should be the
Uh,
San
today's
Antonio.
only one game today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
Um,
what are your thoughts? Because
upset
you
once
you know
again.
you sent me a message talking about James Hart. So this is why I don't do too much talking and just let the people hoop because he hoops.
Oh
And
man.
and I have to, and I haven't disrespected him on here. Donovan Mitchell, good hooping, good hooping. I gotta give
Nah,
it.
Detroit been letting me down, man. They letting me down again. I had Detroit in five. It was up 2-0. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. Bet I'm good. Gucci. And then no, then they want to drop two games. And I'm really upset about game three. Because I feel like that was one that they really could have grabbed game three. That one really upset me. Um, but obviously Detroit in five is no longer available. I still have Detroit winning this. If it turns out to be a home series, like for Cleveland, like the last series was, then Detroit will win this one. But I honestly think Detroit will win this in six. I got Detroit tonight, and then I think they'll uh, get the series over with in Cleveland in Game Six. Detroit just I, I I don't know. I don't know if Detroit just has to lose a couple games and then they lock back in or something like. I don't know what their like forte is and stuff like that, but it just seems like they always have to lose a couple games and then they'll lock in. So I think they'll lock in again and win two straight games and get this series over with.
Yeah. Um, as far as Detroit go, the first person I'm looking at, Jalen Duren. I don't know why he just keep liking to play weak for some reason. Like, bro, you're too strong to be playing weak. And then unfortunately, Tobias Harris was gonna have to come back down to the means. You know, he couldn't play like that
Mm-hmm.
forever. You know, I'm sure he would have loved to, because he would have got a bag next season if he did. But uh honestly, I think it was more for me, it was like it's only a matter of time before. Well, it felt like it was only a matter of time before Donovan Mitchell had a game. You know, right? He's supposed to be this playoff riser. People always talk about him being a playoff riser, and he finally, you know, stepped up. In that first half, it wasn't looking too pretty, but you know, I think I seen he had the second or tie for the most points in the second half ever in the playoffs. So I mean, it's one of them stats where it's like, do you really want to be part of that stat? It's like, yeah, you had a bad first half just to end up with, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But um, I did have Pistons in seven. Now, did I think it was going to be because the Cavs can't continue? They just still can't win on the road. No. Um, but if the Cavs want to win, they better win Game Five. They have no choice. They're not going to win Game Seven. You know what I'm saying? Well, if they, yeah, they're not going to win Game Seven. If it goes to seven, the Pistons are going to win that at home because at that point the Cavs still haven't won a home game
Mm-hmm.
or a away game. Um, but the Pistons, they need to win an away game as well.
In a way game, yeah, they'll have to win in Cleveland in Game Six, and I think they will.
I really think they still can. I mean, look. I'm still hoping for my prediction to say Detroit, their floor was to go to the conference finals. And it was looking real good there until they decide to lose back to back games. But I still think that series can still go exactly how it is, how I predicted. They say a series don't start till a team wins on the road, so this series has not started yet. So uh, we will see. It is a best of three at this point, but we got another best of three, a game that's about to happen shortly here. Minnesota
Mhm.
versus San Antonio. Um, Let me go back to where I had Spurs and six. So it is still in play, but I'm actually disappointed in the Spurs, and more so I'm disappointed in Wemby. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot lose your cool in the playoff because this is what you put your team. This is the situation you put your team in. Now, in a 2-2 series against a team that isn't scared to go up against you. They're not scared to go. Minnesota said we're going to drop to the paint, and it worked for them last series because Jokic is down there. It don't matter who's down there; they were going to get to that paint. They seen Wemby. They're like, "You think we're going to stop driving? No, you're going to keep driving to the paint. He can't block everything." And I mean, they're showing Wemby, hey, you gotta get in that weight room, gotta get restrained. All them block shots is cool and all, but that ain't the end all be all. And then Anthony Edwards is starting to look like he is getting a little better throughout the series. They're getting some confidence. Julius Randle needs to step it up. But
Mhm.
I mean, them being in 2-2 series, and this is a team that has experience, going against an inexperienced team. The Spurs had to go up 3-1. But instead, now it's 2-2 series, and it's anyone series at this point.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely is anyone series. I'm with you. We both had San Antonio in six, and I'm worried. I'm worried precisely just because when we first talked about this, um, I was, talking about, well, Anthony Edwards, been coming back from injury, and then he had hurt his knee. He had hurt his other knee. He had hyperextended his other knee, and so it's like, all right, um, and yeah, he's looking like Anthony Edwards. So as time keeps going on, he's like coming back into true form, and it's just not looking good. Tonight is going to be the tail sign. I really want to switch it to Minnesota in seven. I want to switch my pick, but obviously I'm locked into what I said. Um, but I know I said Spurs in six, but I won't be surprised if this is Minnesota in seven.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if I I gave the Timberwolves the respect of thinking like, okay, they're not about to get out in 5 or 4, nothing like that. They ain't about to get swept like y'all did.
All
But
right,
but I'm like
we're not
I'm
healthy.
like the Spurs. And the thing is, the Spurs should have like they had an opportunity to win game one. They just missed the shot. They won game two and three. They had opportunity to win game four. They had opportunity. They could, already swept this series. But obviously, you don't have to win by a million points to win the series. You only have to win by 1 point, to win the game. So as long as Minnesota outscores them, that's all he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I am going to keep it at Spurs and six because it is still in play. But if the Wolves win tonight, it could be literal. And then game five is in San Antonio tonight. So we
Mm-hmm.
will see. Hopefully Wemby learns his lesson because honestly, if he was anybody else, he wasn't Victor Wembanyama, if he wasn't the golden child, he probably wouldn't be playing this game. And
Mm-hmm.
in some people's eyes, he shouldn't play this game at all. I don't know how, you know, it's hard to say, right? If I was a commissioner, would I spend him? I don't know. But hey, he gotta come out here and actually show, his tail. Because it's not like the Spurs, got blown out after he lost, like after he went out the game.
Mm-hmm.
They were still in the game. They still had a chance to win. And I'm sure Wemby watching that, realizing, hey, if I don't, lose my head, lose my cool, we possibly go up 3-1 in the series.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, if he doesn't lose his or the Timberwolves seeing him lose his cool like that might play to their advantage because the Timberwolves play, they play real nigga basketball, I'm just being honest. They go out there, they don't the flashiness, all the cute stuff, the analytic, they don't care.
Yep.
They going out there to hoop. They just hooping.
Yep.
And you're gonna get a team that like the Spurs, they like to do ball movement and all this. They got all the colors in the crowd. Man, go out there and saying put foot on neck, Minnesota. So yeah, we'll see with that.
Yeah.
Um the last thing I want to ask you about, and we probably don't have to talk long about this. What's your feelings on the draft lottery? How do you feel about that, or how that shaped up?
Um. One, I'm happy where OKC's pick landed for sure.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things. Like seeing them. Wait, oh, actually, breaking news:
The Daryl
76 and
Morey.
Daryl Morey just parted ways. So yeah, you said it was going to happen, and it just
Yep.
happened.
Yep.
So and it says
Somebody.
head coach Nick Nurse will still stay in Philly. So we will see.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Somebody.
also got breaking news. Was not breaking news. Jake Fisher said LeBron may take a vet minimum.
Mm.
Mm, mm.
Well, I want to know. The biggest thing with that is, will Adam allow it? That's what I would be worried about. That will Adam Silver allow? It? No. This
Hmm.
is this
I,
is a real conversation, and I'm
I
calling
know,
it
I
now.
know.
Maybe nobody's talking about it now, but would Adam Silver allow LeBron to take a vet minimum, or will he at least step in and say, you can't take a vet minimum, but you can take, like a lower market value, which should probably be like 20, 25 million or something like that.
Yeah, it's one of the things where a few years ago this was a conversation like, oh, like 'cause people have been saying LeBron take a pay cut for years. I mean, he's still been getting his 50. He don't care. Uh, and of course I've heard the whole like, oh yeah, what I'm still allowing it. Yeah, he can't just let LeBron go out there and play for free. Basically,
Yeah, I
LeBron's
mean,
too valuable to the league. But
on
it's
a $2
like
million deal or something, like, come on now.
we're in this point where these players are still so good at their ages, where it's just like they're giving too much production to be getting paid the same as he's too good to be getting paid what Bronny gets paid. He can't do that.
Right. And
Uh,
so that's why I'm like, yeah, that's a problem. Um,
so we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. The draft lottery though, like I said, I was happy with OKC where they pick fell. I was worried about that. I actually love the fact that the Wizards got the number one pick, because I feel like the Wizards, after drafting, trading and getting Trey Young and Anthony Davis, and then they're gonna come back healthy next season, and now you got the number one pick, and you can either pick a player, or now you can really trade that pick, and get a lot of assets to put around those two players, and really, honestly, go from one of or the worst team in the league to now actually contending. I mean, you have an asset where you could trade and get players to actually contend. I mean, just at the snap of your fingers like that. In my opinion, maybe a lot of people don't agree with that, but I think Trey Young, Anthony Davis,
I
and then
don't agree with
able to
that.
get a selection of players around them. I think they can, if everybody stays healthy, obviously, but everybody
They
stays
won't.
healthy.
I'll tell you that right
Talking
now. They
about
won't.
contention, you never know.
Um,
Never.
well, I have it right here. Is Jake Fisher again saying that the Timberwolves, or not the Timberwolves, the Wizards and Jazz are talking trades. Potentially maybe swapping positions with that pick because which I've got to dive into, the prospects, which I typically don't care to dive into the after they get drafted. I'm not about to watch people that ain't about to get drafted playing college. But AJ DeBonsa seemed to be the pick, the number one overall pick consensus, or at least the favorite to be number one overall pick.
Hmm.
And then Utah has really invested a lot into trying to get AJ DeBonsa. The owner of the Jazz, I heard, is a big investor for BYU, and
Yeah.
BYU invested a lot of
Yeah.
money to get AJ. So AJ, and I'm pretty sure AJ played like some high school in Utah as well. He's been in Utah for a minute, basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's been getting pocket fed for a minute. That's what it
right.
is.
So I'm seeing Utah get number two. I'm sure they really want that number one, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to get their guy because that's the guy they want.
Mhm.
Um, but the Wizards also they have the power to be like, hey, you gotta give us something if you want that. You know what I mean?
See, is what
Because
I'm saying.
The Wizards probably didn't even want AJ. They probably it might be a situation like when The Celtics had the number one overall pick in 2017, I believe,
And they
and they was just
traded it.
like, yeah, they knew Jason Tatum was their guy, but they knew, all right, Markel is looking like he's the first overall pick. The Lakers going to take Lonzo. Let's just move back, get some stuff for it, and take the guy we actually want. And
Hmm.
I don't think they're going to drop too far. I think they're just going to drop down to two, maybe. Let the Jazz pick AJ. Um, and then, like I said, I don't know too much about the prospects to
I mean,
say
maybe
whether
they
or
get the
not.
kid from Kansas.
Yeah, Darren Peterson, which I think
Yeah,
that actually would be a good fit. Just knowing he's a two guard, he could play next to Trey.
right.
Uh, Positionally wise, he fits right into where they for them. Trying to pull up the full lottery. Uh,
Yeah.
let's
I
see.
mean,
And
the
then
Indiana thing sucks.
yeah, that. So then it goes Wizards, Utah. Surprisingly, I didn't. I honestly forgot about the team. Memphis, Chicago get number four. I'm actually happy for Chicago. Um, Indiana's pick goes to the Clippers. Man, that's tough. That's tough. They.
Tyrese Halliburton is still, I believe, the shingles. I believe it still is, and he's still dealing with that.
I
Um,
don't think that's something that'll linger up until the beginning of the season. Um, it's something that might slow him down. As far as like this summer goes. But
but he had
I
gained a
think
lot of weight because of it. So
yeah. But I mean, well, we in May. Season don't start till October. At least I don't know anything about Shingles enough to say he won't be good enough. I'm just gonna hopefully he got the best doctors in the world. Uh, but I mean overall, I mean if Indiana could got their pick, which it would have to been top four, they would have been in a position to really just you know go crazy because they got Zubac and then they would have got a pick. But now the Clippers get the pick, um, which I mean that's just they can't be any happier getting the top five pick, in the year when they almost made the playoffs still, you know, um, traded Zubac for this pick, and it's like, fine, I could take Zubac. They got younger, getting Darius Garland. Kawhi looked decent this year, health wise. He looked good this year, but his health, stayed solid. Uh, they can still be in the mix if they, saying it. I think they probably will take a player just because, post Kawhi, they're going to need a direction.
yeah, yeah, get a young.
But if they really wanted to, they really thought that hey, they could, try to move that for pieces, try to get better, whatever. They could do that. I think they possibly even could trade down. I think the teams right below them at six, there's Brooklyn. At seven, there's the Kings. I think both of
Mm-hmm.
them teams are really pissed they didn't get one of the top picks, especially falling as far as they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those teams could possibly try to trade up, the uh give the Clippers some more assets and things like that. So there's things they can do with that. The Hawks get eight. I know they really wanted that New Orleans pick to jump up because everybody when New Orleans traded that pick to them, everyone thought, man, that's not looking good. But it only fell to eight,
Yeah,
so still not. You still wouldn't want to give up a top 10 pick, but at least not number one. Um, the team I'm honestly, I don't want to say I'm mad for the Mavericks got nine in a year where I don't think they had their first round pick next year. So this was like the opportunity to get another young player, a really top level young player, which they still could get a good young player at nine. I don't know who's all going to be there at nine, but they still could get a good young player at nine. But now, hey, whoever you get at nine, now it's him and Coop that you got to try to, go in that direction with. Um, Everybody else had down week. The
yeah,
Bucks, the
yeah.
Warriors, OKC, then same.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a good draft to see a lot of movement of teams switching picks and opportunities. You're gonna see a lot of trading of picks and teams moving over the place. So definitely the draft order will change before the draft gets here.
Yeah, it's gonna get real interesting. Especially because with the NBA proposing that this last year of the tanking, at least the tanking the way we see that, like right now, they're gonna make some changes. So all these teams better be on their P's and Q's picking these players because if y'all bad next year, don't expect to get rewarded, right?
Yeah,
So Yeah, with all that being said, man, I don't got anything else to say. This second round been boring, but hopefully this game is about to come on to be, you know what I'm saying, real nice. Who you got in this game? This game five coming up tonight?
I might, I might, I might be picking Minnesota tonight.
You know, because you said that, I'm gonna pick the Spurs. I'm gonna pick the Spurs. I think the Spurs might win it anyways, but I'm gonna pick the Spurs. But yeah, anything else you got for this episode?
Nope.
All right, man. Well, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. This has been Anthony. This has been McCaven from Unapologetic Sports. Thanks for watching. Peace.